Hey everyone, it's Brandon with EasyReporting. I wanted to give you a quick demo. This is a live demo of EasyReporting, the COVID-19 reporting tool. This makes reporting to the NHSN super easy, and so I just wanted to do a brief demo to show you some of the highlights of the product. We've always got chat available, both on the marketing website and within the web application. If you need to get a hold of us, this is an easy way to just ask a question and we can get back to you pretty quickly. We also have support through email and phone right at your fingertips. So if you ever run into a problem, you can get a hold of us. The login screen is pretty straightforward, but if you forget your password, we've got you covered right here with the forgot password feature. Let's go ahead and log in and take a look. Now, the home page is going to pull some statistical data that's kind of helpful, but I like this snapshot view here. These facilities this is all fake data. This is on our demo server. So there's no PHI here, but this lets you sort by these column headers and gives you the last 3 days and last 7 days. That's kind of helpful to see, but the primary page that you're going to use on EasyReporting is this little icon over here with the virus. Let's take a look at this page here. We call this the COVID-19 tracker. You can see that the sections are kind of broken out into the way that the NHSM views the data with resident data, staff data. Over here on this facility tab, we have things like therapeutics and PPE supplies. But the primary thing that you're going to see here is all these residents have been pulled in from my EHR. So Brandon Copeland is a resident. He doesn't have COVID, but he did die in the facility. So EasyReporting has found that event and logged him because this is a metric that the NHSN is interested in knowing. So all the metrics that we track here are all relative to the data set that the NHSN asked for. What this gives you the ability to do is override any of these values here that you see. It's right at your fingertips. So all you have to do is just change it once and it updates. So that makes it pretty easy for a manager to just look over this data and kind of review it. They can always update if they feel like something is not correct. For example, Stephen Gilmore. Why is this guy on this list? Well, if you click this plus icon right here, it shows you the qualifying events for each one of these residents. And if you feel that one of these events shouldn't be there, you can click this ignore and it will take that event off of the resident's history. So let's take a look at the staff data. The resident data is obviously much more accurate because it's pulling straight from the EHR. There's not an equivalent for staff. So what we really do is merge two data imports. One is from a customer's HRIS system, like ADP or Paycom. That's where we get the staff's demographic information, like their residence, their address, their ethnicity, their race. We usually get all of that from the HR system. So then all the manager has to do is enter the POC test results. You can see this screen here lets you enter any staff or if you have like a visitor. And then this test screen is pretty straightforward and simple. Let's go through one of these quickly. So I'm just going to enter, we'll just say that these POC test results happened last Friday. All right, all that looks good. This is symptomatic, this is pregnant. Okay, we're going to add this for DeMarcus. Now that one test has been added, all you have to do is change this to the next staff member and press add. So it makes it super easy to add a bunch of POC test results for your staff quickly. So really, staff POC test results are the only thing that you really have to enter into EasyReporting. All the resident data is being imported from the EHR, and then we have the HR import that gives us the set of employees, and then we also have the outsourced lab results that we're importing for customers. So in a scenario where you use an outsourced lab for all of your staff testing, you would never have to actually enter these test results. It should just be there out of the box, which is nice. We've tried to design this so it is the least burden possible on the facility managers. This testing tab shows you all of the testing that's going on. And you can see here, we just went through POC device testing for staff. That's what this S represents. But you might be asking, well, what about POC test results for residents? That is typically entered by a clinical personnel within the facility. And so we have merged it into the EHR so it stays within the clinical experience. We have two UDAs. That is the engine we use to put some screens inside the EHR that EasyReporting needs in order to fulfill the NHSN data set. There are two UDAs that we use out of the box. One is a screening UDA, which just simply asks some symptomatic type questions for each resident. This needs to be filled out once a day for every resident. And then the other is the POC test results. So this looks very similar to what we were just looking at, but this is for residents. The nice thing about keeping these UDAs in the clinical experience is that it shows up with all the other care plan type information, all the other assessments for the resident. Now, depending on what EHR you use, obviously this UDA is going to look different. Currently, we have a PCC and a matrix care integration for these UDAs, which makes it nice because your clinical staff, they don't really have to learn anything new. It's just part of what they already know. Mostly the facility administrators are the ones that use EasyReporting. So that covers how all the data gets into EasyReporting. Let's look at actually submitting. If you'll jump over here to this little government icon, these will be your submissions. And when you first start using EasyReporting, we'll actually import all of your historical submissions from the NHSN. So out of the box, you're going to see some other submissions here, but let's look at the active window. So if you're familiar at all with the NHSN, the active window is the time from the last time you submitted for that facility to now. And so you can see here that for each of my facilities, it's telling me what the active window is. This helps keep things very clear and defined and prevents rollovers. So if you count a resident in last windows, in the last reporting window, it won't get counted twice. These rollover stats are very common, and it's one of the things that the NHSN has complained about pretty regularly. So EasyReporting does a really good job of creating clean windows, when a window begins and when it ends. It can actually measure this down to the millisecond. So it's pretty precise. So you can see this right now is a snapshot of all my facilities. And when you submit this data to the NHSN, it is anonymous. So it's just a number, like deaths is 2. Well, as the facility manager, I'm like, well, what 2 residents was this? You can always click this eye icon and it will tell you where EasyReporting actually got that number from, which is very helpful. So we're looking at resident data now, but if you're familiar with the NHSN, you can see these other sections are should look pretty familiar. Staff, supplies, ventilators, and therapeutics. So you can review all these screens to make sure your data is correct for the NHSN. The way this demo company is set up is that each individual facility manager has to submit their own data. So if I go to a single facility, you can see here, now I have the big fat green button that says submit to the NHSN. So I'm going to review all my data, and these headers, just so that you know, if you mouse over it, we're going to show you the exact description of that field from the NHSN, which is great because some of these fields are a little confusing. Latency is an important one. This is the time from when you submit your outsourced test results to the time that you get them back. We measure that for you and automatically calculate this value based on all the outsourced lab results. Non-POC staff, how many outsourced lab results did you have? Non-POC res, how many outsourced resident lab results did you have? We're calculating all these values so you don't have to worry about them. You can just pretty much review this data and then click this button. And there you go. That was just submitted to the NHSN. So you'll see more rows like this as you're submitting for each of your facilities. There's 2 pathways that we submit for our customers. There's the daily entry, which we advise most customers to submit twice a week. And then there are the POC test results that we submit for customers. So for example, if one of your clinical staff enters a POC test result inside your EHR, that immediately goes straight to the NHSN, and then we count it towards the metrics, like how many POC tests have you done this week. So we're counting it towards the aggregate number, but then also entering the POC test result directly to the NHSN per their requirement. Let's talk briefly about reports, I want to show you, this is again all spoofed data, but these reports are really useful for executives or people that are over an entire region and they want to see how their facilities are doing. This shows just 4 of the facilities here, and it's even got county data integrated into it because that dictates the testing frequency. But you can see that this is all very useful resident all time data, and then if you scroll all the way to the right, total all time. So this is very powerful because once we import all of your NHSN historical data, like if you wanted to know how many total COVID positive residents have I had at this facility all time, that would be this number right here. So this is super useful just in terms of tracking what's happening. And for most of our customers, we just attach this PDF to like a daily email or once a week, whatever their preferred frequency is. We also have a slew of reminder emails. This is all custom and easily configurable to what each customer needs. But like, let's say that you submit your NHSN reports on a Wednesday. At 3 p.m. on Wednesday, we can schedule an email reminder, and it goes out to each facility manager that hasn't submitted for that day. Those helpful reminders really help the administrators because we all know that they're taking care of residents and that the COVID-19 requirement is really just one more thing they have to tackle. So we've tried to be very considerate of that and just send some helpful reminders that, hey, this needs to be done today. So there's some things around the tool that we've programmed to help make it easier on the facility managers that you don't necessarily see in the UI, but still it's part of the overall product. So that's really it. This is Easy Reporting in a nutshell. My name is Brandon, and thanks for watching the demo.